used to play, now a CFL team does. It looks like Baltimore is all set for the return of professional football. Of this dark, narrow walkway at Memorial Stadium made a whole lot brighter than usual by our television lights, but this is the dugout tunnel, and over the years, through it have walked many of the greatest legends in the history of their sport. People like Don Shula, Earl Weaver, Jim Palmer, Johnny Unitas, to name a few. They're some of the people who have made the brief walk from locker room through the tunnel and onto the field, and of course they all embody the distinguished tradition of Memorial Stadium. And tonight a whole new tradition begins here, because in a few moments Baltimore's CFL team will march through the tunnel and onto the field to face the Calgary Stampeders, and the fans in this refurbished grand old stadium will go crazy, as they do for almost anything their new football team does. And so now the fans await the players. Well, a humid heat wave has gripped the Baltimore area for weeks now. Daily temperatures soar into the 30s, leaving most here feeling like glazed donuts. Nonetheless, the Baltimore CFLers were banking on a crowd in excess of 40,000 to help them celebrate their CFL home opener tonight, and you might find it at least a touch ironic that the largest crowd early in this Canadian Football League season has shown up in an American city. Well, maybe not, if you understand the tradition and the love of the game in the Baltimore area. Everywhere Baltimore looks, it's surrounded by football, either NFL or big-time American college teams. Baltimore's football culture may have been formed when the Colts won the '58 NFL championship. The '68 Colts lost the Super Bowl to Joe Namath and the Jets. The '70 Colts won it. And with that, Baltimore's football culture was cemented. By the '80s, the culture was so strong, not even the sneak departure of the team in the middle of the night could kill it. Baltimore is football country. The area still produces hundreds of college and professional players. Memories of good times at Memorial Stadium didn't go with the team to Indianapolis. You want to see the football culture of the area? You can, in the band that played for 10 years when there was no team here. And in the way the city has warmed to a different version of the game they're used to, with pep rallies and a season ticket subscription of $25,000. And I think you'd be hard-pressed to find a single fan of Memorial Stadium tonight who has any intention of respecting the court injunction that doesn't permit us to refer to the Baltimore franchise as lively young horses. Fans here will bellow the name Colts at every opportunity, a rebuke, if you will, of the NFL, which has gone to court to prevent use of what it considers one of its trademark names. The injunction was granted in late June in Indianapolis, and this week a Maryland court refused to hear the trademark rights case. The case will now be heard in the Chicago Appellate Court in early August. The crowd erupts here now as the Baltimore CFLers walk onto the field. And let's be honest for a moment, this city's early infatuation with the Canadian Football League likely has as much to do with its disdain of the NFL as it does with its interest in three-down football. There is no love lost for the NFL in this city, not since March 28th of '84, the night on which the moving vans took the team to Indianapolis. Don't the Baltimore CFLers and their fans love this moment? We are awaiting now the symbolic return of professional football to Baltimore. It was the moving vans that took the team out of the city and to Baltimore in the dark of the night on March 28, '84. And a moving van will bring pro football back to Baltimore in just a few moments, we hope. But let's listen to the moment. The CFL home opener, the debut of the Canadian game in Baltimore. Well, there you have the first Colts, C-O-L-T-S, say the fans, in complete denial of any court injunction. They could care less. Their team, to them, is the Baltimore CFL Colts.
Introducing the starting lineup for the Calgary Stampeders. At left tackle, number 60, Bruce Coverton.
And at Memorial Stadium, they're set now to introduce the starting lineup. The chorus of boos was for the Calgary Stampeders, who will be introduced first.
Number 56, Dub Davies.
Have said earlier, was born in the Baltimore area. lived here until the age of 6, then moved to Florida, and of course established himself after that as a standout athlete in the New England area. Now, of course, has been a 3-time outstanding player in the Canadian Football League. Again, the plan here at Memorial Stadium is for a symbolic return of pro ball to the city in a moving van. We await that van at the north end of the stadium. It should come through that gate in just a moment. I'm not sure if the fans have any idea what awaits, but they certainly will cheer, because all of them cried on the night of March 28, 84, when huge semis, huge moving vans took the Baltimore NFL Colts from the city to Indianapolis. Baltimore CFL Colts getting ready now to make their home opening debut. They played an exhibition game here a few weeks back, had almost 30,000 fans for an overtime victory against the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. This, though, is the regular season. Football and anger, you might say, and there it is at long last, the moving van bringing pro ball back to the Baltimore area. The plan was from the Baltimore front office to have the players spill out of the van, but of course there is a game to be played here in just a few moments, so Coach Don Matthews could not go along with that. The cheerleaders, we are told, to be first off the van, and they'll be followed by a couple of principals in the CFL expansion to Baltimore. Symbolism of this moment is not lost on the Baltimore football fans, who booed, although I'm not sure if they recognize the difference. It is said the moving company that transported the team's equipment and furniture to Indianapolis saw its business in Baltimore destroyed. We want to point out that this is not that company. This is one of several corporate sponsors of the Baltimore CFL franchise. And the cheerleaders carry the football spirit onto the field now at Memorial Stadium for the first time in 10 years. This time the cheering is for the Canadian game. And on horseback, as I mentioned a moment ago, two of the principals in the league's expansion to Baltimore, team owner Jim Spiros and league commissioner Larry Smith. And boy, don't those horses look lively. Those are two city slickers who had better hope the horses cooperate.
Rush in from Marshall.
So then if you go along with the theatrics, football is back in Baltimore. So let's talk about the game between Baltimore and the Calgary Stampeders, and to describe the proceedings from a great vantage point in an impressively redecorated Memorial Stadium, here are Don Whitman and James Curry. Okay, Don, as we approach kickoff between Baltimore and Calgary at Memorial Stadium, we want you to meet one of the latest CFL converts. Tom Matte had 12 years at running back for the Baltimore Colts in the Johnny Unitas era. We caution that he is a minority owner in this Baltimore CFL franchise, so that may have a great deal to do with what he has to say about the Canadian Football League. But go ahead and make your statement on the return of pro ball to your city.
Well, the first thing is that football is back in Baltimore, and that's the most important thing. We're a basically what I call Baltimore is a football town. We got a great baseball team here, but these fans really wanted football back here, and Jim Spiros made sure we got it back.
Tom, this looks like a first-class operation you got here. There are about 40,000 fans in attendance tonight. Can it be this way for the CFL and other American cities?
I think we are the leader in setting the pace for the rest of the cities in the United States right now. And I really feel that Baltimore is going to be that example that has to be set, that other cities know that the CFL can survive and is a great football game.
Okay, Tom, thank you for your time. Enjoy the game tonight.
Thank you very much.
Welcome back to Memorial Stadium in Baltimore. There are a lot of legends around this ballpark, and one of the less serious ones involves Orioles manager Earl Weaver. Managed the team from 68 to 82 and again in 86, and every year that he did, out here in left field, he planted tomatoes. Actually, it was a contest that he and groundskeeper Pat Santarone used to hold to see who could grow the biggest and juiciest tomatoes, and because Santarone had the touch, he won annually. Weaver, of course, ever the gentleman, used to accuse Santarone of putting pesticide on his tomato patch. Don?
That would have been an interesting contest. Of course, Earl Weaver had time to tend that tomato patch. He was ejected from quite a few baseball games here at Memorial Stadium.
Well, I think one of the reasons why he was ejected because he wanted to go down and have a tomato salad while the game was going on.
Coleman and Smith are back to receive the kickoff. Igwebike kicks it high for Coleman. Coleman starts out from the 12-yard line. Some blocking forms down the right side, and then just as quickly is cut off by Malcolm Goodwin, a 23-yard run back.
Huge crowd on hand. Stadium, at least huge in relation to CFL crowds so far this season, 40,000. They're enjoying every moment so far of the CFLers' 3-0 lead over Calgary. Jim Sparrows, the owner of the Baltimore CFLers, with us earlier this week. Jim, it was we were on the verge of bringing the 1996 game to Baltimore. Is it that Baltimore is the game it hadn't heard of until earlier this year?
Absolutely. I mean, it's just an example of what we can do here in Baltimore, and we're hoping to get the Grey Cup here in '96. Yes, we are.
You expect you could sell out, make money for the league?
Oh, absolutely. I think it would be the best thing that happened to the league at this point in time.
Jim, you were on with us last week during our telecast in Toronto, so I want to tell you this. You make one more live appearance with us on the CFL on CBC, and you qualify for co-host status. How's that sit with you?
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
Thanks for your time, Jim. Enjoy the rest of the game. Don?
Well, he has done a marvelous job with the renovations he was responsible for here at Memorial Stadium, basically designed for baseball. And we took a tour through the upper deck. And although you're a long way from the field, you really have a great view of the playing field here at Memorial Stadium, despite the fact you're in the corners of the end zone. Tracy Ham's in trouble. Tried to dump
Saskatchewan Roughriders at Sam Boyd Stadium, and where at last word it was, I think, about 295 degrees Fahrenheit, and all the players were on fire. At least
Maryland to the right side. The runs have been coming back to the left with Pringle, and it really has Calgary off balance at the moment.
Doug Kraft.
At Memorial Stadium, Calgary in front of Baltimore 8-3 midway through the second quarter. Coming up on Live at the Half at halftime tonight, you'll see some of the performance of the famous Baltimore Colts marching band. They've been playing for 10 years, even without a team here, so tonight is a significant performance for the band. We're hoping to have Baltimore Mayor Kurt Schmoke with us to talk about his city's efforts to bring the '96 Grey Cup here. And we'll go to Las Vegas, where later tonight the Posse and the Saskatchewan Roughriders play the second half of our doubleheader. Don,
as we look out on the stadium, that's a wonderful shot to see the stands packed like that with CFL fans watching a CFL football game. And this is going back to Canada. I hope everybody back there in Canada sees this and come out and pack the ballparks next week.
The game has also been being seen across the United States on ESPN2, and the people here in Baltimore are really enthused about having a football team again occupying. First and 10 from the 20, the fake to Pringle. Tracy Ham looks to the end zone for Armstrong, touchdown! Chris Armstrong has scored all 3 CFL touchdowns this year for Baltimore.
The first CFL touchdown ever scored by the Baltimore CFL franchise. Chris Armstrong from his old buddy, Tracy Ham.
Igwebike now with the point after. No mistake, 4:30 remaining. And Baltimore